Welcome to the Backrooms. We're going to the background information of our favorite topics and going obscure. My name is Gabe, and I'm your host.
And my name is Matt. I will be your co-host on this season finale.
Just in this one episode.
Only in this episode.
You're out after this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got a new host. His name is Jack.
Hinaro. Jack Hinaro.
Yep.
So, as you all know, because I'm sure you got from there, this topic is CCA-XX1, which, of course, the majority and pretty much all of what is said in the story is said in the video. So, we won't be talking about it.
Unfortunately, if you clicked on this, even though CCABCHIJ, whatever it's called, is not in the title of the video. I just punched my mic. Even though it's not in the title of the video, like, that meant nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
That meant nothing to you. So, if you came from that episode, welcome.
What a season finale, though.
Yeah, what a season finale. We're talking about what we were supposed to talk about last week. But last week, I was all stressy-depressy over my boy dying.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
My boy.
My boy.
I just didn't expect you to say my boy. I thought you were going to say my cat, so it got me off guard.
Oh, like you thought like Mickey or Caden died or something?
No, I thought you were about to say my cat, but then you said my boy, so I was like, immediately thought the audience would think that if they didn't see the last one, that like a friend of yours died.
Oh, yeah, you probably... Yeah, and I said that very happily, too. Like, my boy died. Can you believe it?
That's unfortunate. Anyway.
It's unfortunate, but alas, I am over it now.
Yeah, for the most part.
So, Job, what are we going to talk about this week?
Well, Matt, because we did not talk about Tolkien last week, we'll be talking about Tolkien this week. Yep. Including the books, the movies, and everything in between.
And our personal experiences with Tolkien. Yes.
I'll start first. I will start first.
Okay.
Because I saw the movies, I think everyone's seen the movies at least one point in their life.
Yep.
As long as you were alive during it.
Right.
Obviously someone that died before it,
Well, they would have seen the 1970s one.
Yes, that's true, the animated one. Which I was actually going to mention, but I forgot.
Oh. In the episode?
No, just in this podcast.
Oh, okay.
But I do, my own personal experience with the books is that I think I read them in 5th grade. Obviously, I barely understood what was going on because I was a 5th grader.
Yep, so did I.
But that, especially in middle school, I did not like reading. As I'm gonna move my camera real quick. As you can tell by my bookshelf.
I have to fix that.
Nope.
Oh, never mind. No, I don't.
I put it right back. I put it just right back.
Look at that.
I just showed my bookshelf there real quick. I just glanced at it real quick. I
was gesturing at
but I like reading now. But in middle school especially, I hated it. So whenever they required writing or reading a book in each school year or whatever, I'd just reread the Lord of the Rings and get all my points or whatever they wanted me to do. But I'd do that, whatever they were in my middle school at least. But I did that consecutively for like 4 years. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy 4 years in a row until I got into reading legitimately.
They are good books.
Yeah, they're good.
We forgot to do this. We forgot to do the announcement at the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to do the big announcement.
4 minutes in.
4 minutes in. So hopefully you didn't click away. If you did, then you'll just be surprised next week when it starts, or 2 weeks from now, or whenever it starts.
Whenever.
But just because Going Obscure and the Backrooms are leaving, we're gonna be back in December. Okay, first week of December is when we're planning on returning to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But just because that's ending, does not mean that this channel's ending.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where I'm going with this, Gabe?
Yes.
Obviously you do, because we talked about this beforehand. But, do you know? I couldn't hear that because the viewers don't know how to answer.
Up.
They don't know how to answer.
Speak up.
So, just, you know what that means? It means Thorn Podcast the main show on this channel, is going to come back to you every week, one day a week, with a short
once a
20
week.
to 30 minute long podcast of me and Jabobi right over here just talking about who's-y whatsy,
whatever
and
we want.
thingamajigs, and
We do have topics written down, so it's not going to be just winging it.
11 weeks, people. You get us for 11 more weeks, and because there's 13 weeks in between this break and when we come back in December, so 11 of those 13 will be Thorn Podcast.
Yeah.
And there might be a break in between it, depending on if I'm lazy and I didn't want to upload a podcast that week. That's on me. That's on me. But yes, look forward to that Thorn Podcast coming back to you for 2 months, 3 months. 3 months. September, October, and November.
Yeah, that's cool and all.
It's very cool. But back to Tolkien.
What's your personal reading experience for The Lord of the Rings? Because like you mentioned earlier, you read them in 5th grade.
I did. Yes, I read The Lord of the Rings in 5th grade because of AR points. Now, if you don't know what AR points are, I don't think they have that in schools anymore.
No,
Any schools?
not.
They had it at our school, but I think AR was a big thing. They had a whole concert or something that had like Taylor Swift at it. Do you remember that? And we watched it during lunch once, and all the girls in our class were freaking out.
I don't remember that at all. I don't have a good memory, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm the guy who's telling the stories here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the guy. But anyway, yeah. So, AR, you had to get like a certain amount of points per quarter. 4 quarters in a year. It was like 20 points per quarter. And usually a book would have like 4 or 5 points. You'd have to read quite a few. But Lord of the Rings had like 40 points per book.
Yeah, so you basically could just read one book of like a quarter or whatever,
2
and
books
you're
a
good.
semester.
Yeah, and you're good for like the whole year.
Yep. So first semester I read The Hobbit. The Hobbit? Hobbit. And second semester I read Fellowship. Third semester, 2 Towers. And then fourth semester, I read some random books because I got too bored with 2 Towers and stopped reading.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you,
Speaking of The Hobbit, I'm going to grab something real quick. It's right under me.
Okay. But I should say, if you're not familiar with Tolkien, he likes to write in very descriptive ways. Like he'll talk about a tree. Yeah. And he'll be like, this tree was the
the AR points
tree.
We should mention. It's like you basically just take a quiz about what happened in the book.
Yeah, I should have said that. You take a quiz and then you get amount of points how well you did on the quiz.
Here's my copy of The Hobbit I've had since 5th grade. As you can't see right now, I'm not showing the covers because my entire front and back cover are ripped off. I don't know how they fell off.
Wow.
But they fell off over time. This is the worst condition I have a book in out of my entire collection.
Wow. How sad.
Yeah. It is sad.
I have my copies of The Hobbit, LOTR 1 through 3, and the Silmarillion, and the Fall of Gondolin up on my bookshelf out there.
I have the same ones, but I also have the others, the Unfinished Tales, what is it, The Children of whatever?
Beren and Luthien.
And then that other one, whatever it is. Because I found them pretty cheap online.
Yeah.
It's like $4 a book. I just decided to round them off.
I bought Gondolin when it came out because it was the last Tolkien book that was ever going to be released.
Yeah.
And I bought it when it came out.
I didn't know that's the last. So that's like all the ones I have down there. That's all of them.
Yes. I'll get to Gondolin when I get to that point. But I should continue here.
Yeah,
Tolkien likes to describe stuff. Like a paragraph. Like he'll talk about a tree. I was saying this before Gabe showed his book.
Yeah.
He's like the tree was the tree of Gonfalonier, and it was planted by the seeds of Sir Ronmentin III, who was the son of Radmentin, and they planted the seeds 10,000 years ago, and the seed grew, and it withered a bunch of storms, and it withered a bunch of trifle and truffles and brownies, you know, and all that. And so my 5th grade meatball kid mind couldn't comprehend big words. He was like, big word, no. Big word is no. And so I was like, I'm bored, so I'm going to quit reading these. And then I didn't pick another one up until junior year of high school. And I read all 3 in the course of like 1 semester, I think. All 3. 4, actually. I started with The Hobbit again, then I read again. So I've read through the books 3 times now, because then I read them again senior year.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good.
Honestly,
I don't know why.
It's crazy to think that The Hobbit was a children's book.
Yeah, The Hobbit definitely sounds like a children's book. The Lord of the Rings is like so complex, and like there's just like, yeah, I could understand The Hobbit, but when it got to Lord of the Rings, I was like, why is it so much more confusing? Why is it so much more elaborate and so like elegant?
Yeah.
And all the speech is Old English, like, you haveth 2 swords, nay, I haveth 3.
Yep. Pretty much.
Something like that, anyway.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you were probably a bigger Lord of the Rings fan than I was, at least back then. And now, I guess. I don't really think much about Lord of the Rings nowadays.
Yeah. I'm a pretty big fan of Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. I bought the extended editions, or my dad got them for me for my birthday last year.
Yeah.
So I was watching those. Those movies are great. However, the 3rd one is like 4 hours long. It's 4 hours long, and then the credits are like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So all in all, the movie, the film, is 4 hours of the 4.5 hour time.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple days to watch through it.
Yeah.
And the other ones are like 3.5, 3 hours 45. So they're long too.
Yeah.
And they're a lot better than the theatrical versions, I must say. And I rewatched those recently, and they're very good. The 3rd one, I'm pretty sure the movie won like the most Oscars ever. It was like 50 Oscars or something.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they won like 50. Yeah. I hope to collect the extended editions on DVD one day, because I just have them on digital. But the box is like $100, I'm pretty sure, for the 3 extended movies, like the DVDs.
Yeah.
One day. That's a good collector's item to have. And then, senior year, I bought The Fall of Gondolin, like I mentioned before. Going back to the books. And The Fall of Gondolin it was an unfinished thing that Tolkien wrote. Like, he never finished it. Well, he wrote an outline of it that was entirely in Old English, like Shakespearean English.
Yeah.
And then he started writing the actual version, but he only got through like 3 chapters. So in the book you buy, you get the outline, and then you get the unfinished 3 chapters of the one that's more descriptive and stuff, and not all Old English. And then you get like notes from Tolkien's son Chris, who I believe passed away recently.
Yeah.
He was like 90 something.
Yeah, makes sense. He was an older guy.
Yeah. And I read through the Old English thing, the summary or the outline. It's very good. I have a feeling if they made it into a movie, it would be very, very good. Like 90% of it is just battle. I mean, there's talking and stuff in it, and like it goes more into the mythology thing, because I think Tuor, or whatever his name is, the main character, he meets with the god of the sea, Poseidon. His name's not Poseidon, but Greek mythology right there.
Yeah.
Or is Greek Neptune?
I don't know.
And Roman is Poseidon.
Yeah, I remember learning this, like, well, researching for this episode, or for last episode, I guess, that there was going to be a sequel written for Lord of the Rings, but I think Tolkien only got like 10 pages in before he decided to scrap it because it was too sad for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard that it's basically the story is about how the what I remember was that the entire story has no hobbits or orcs or anything, it's just humans.
Oh,
And it's
really?
basically about how legends just fade away over time and how people will just forget the past and read and like accidentally like, what do you call it? Make the same mistakes and stuff.
Yeah. So, like, none of the
Yeah.
original characters are in it?
None of the originals, no,
Oh.
that I know of.
Hmm. You can find out the whole story in the appendix of the third book.
Hmm.
Like, he wrote a timeline of everything that happens before and after the books.
Okay.
And basically every single one of the Fellowship people leave Middle-earth by the end.
Okay.
Like, all of them. My voice is cracking. I gotta drink some water. Yeah, they all leave by the end.
Hmm.
Like Lego Man
Hmm.
and Gimli,
Yes.
they build a boat and they sail away because they're friends.
Hmm.
And Aragorn, like, he leaves like right after Frodo
Hmm.
and Gandalf. And so does Bilbo.
Hmm.
There was a book that Tolkien wrote about Bilbo when
Yes.
they left.
Called The
I don't know.
Hobbit?
I don't know why I'm saying their names wrong. That's a joke that I took too far. But
Yes.
like, it was like Bilbo's last song or something.
Okay.
And it was released. It was in like a book of poems that he wrote.
Hmm.
And it's when they're sailing away from Middle-earth. It's like they're on the ocean and they're like thousands of miles away from Middle-earth to go to the next
Yeah.
place. The next
Where
piece of
yeah,
land.
what is okay.
And he like sings a song while he's on the boat about leaving Middle-earth, and that's all it is.
Yeah. Do we know what the next land is?
We don't. So I thought it was
Mm.
the land that's in the Fall of Gondolin because there's a map. There's a
Mhm.
map and it looks nothing like Middle-earth. Because you know how at the
Yeah.
beginning of every book there's a map of the place, you know where they are.
Mhm.
There's a map of Middle-earth in
Yeah.
Gondolin. But I realized it's the same land that's in
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings, but it's just like thousands and thousands of years prior.
Yeah.
So like there's no forests anywhere, and the mountains haven't formed
Mhm.
yet. But like there's a bunch of similarities, like the rivers and stuff are all the
Yeah.
same. Like I compared the two. It is
Mhm.
the same land. I thought it was a completely different piece of land,
Yeah.
but it's not. There is a map. I remember like there's three maps. There's the Lonely Mountain map,
Mhm.
the Middle Earth map, then there was a third one that was like an island,
Mhm.
but it was never mentioned in the book, so I have a feeling that's the other land.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's just my guess.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Mm,
just my
I-
theory.
Yeah, I don't know if I have too much more to say about Lord of the Rings because my personal, account of it is pretty skewed. I basically just summarized all of it is that I saw the movies, then the books, or vice versa, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I still like them. I still collected a few of the last ones online, like half a year ago, just to have them and maybe read them eventually.
Yeah, they're worth it.
Yeah,
I would get. Have you read Gondolin?
no, I've only read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. I would read. I have the Silmarillion, but I've never read it. I heard it's
Yeah, I've
really
heard
confusing.
yeah, let's say it. I've heard it's really complicated.
And like all Old English, so it's like
Yeah.
really, really hard to follow.
Yep,
Because that was the first one he made before he made The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
yep.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's the one that takes place first, at least.
Yeah.
It's like the whole
Gondolin.
story, like the
Gondolin
whole
was one of his
Bible,
first
basically.
stories.
Yeah.
That was written in like 1912, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
And then it was
wow.
lost for a bunch of years before it was re-released in 2017.
Yeah.
Being the last Tolkien book ever released.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it was released in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last book that the Tolkien family ever released.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
well, there's Chris's sons, I would assume.
Yeah.
And family.
Anyway, I don't have too much else to say.
Yeah. But I would read Gondolin if I were you. If you can get past the Old English. Like maybe look up a translation or something online.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
It's very, like, battle heavy.
Okay.
And the weirdest thing was Legolas is in it.
Oh, yeah, because
elves are immortal.
Yeah.
Elves are immortal, so he would have been around at that point. So
yeah.
He's in it, but he's only mentioned in one sentence.
Oh.
It's like, and there among them hath been upon Legolas Greenleaf, who was raised by the wood elves, hath yonder dawn.
If he's immortal, where is he now?
I don't know.
Where is he in 2021?
Where are any of the elves?
Yeah, where are they?
They're all
Are they in Middle-earth?
That must mean they're fake.
Yeah.
Then they weren't real after all. Then Tolkien is real as a fake
fictional
theory.
Story. Oh no.
Tolkien's real as a fake theory?
Who would have guessed?
And so is CCA, the one from the episode, the main episode on this one?
There's a possibility that one's actually true, but we don't know.
That's like the military thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a military thing.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it in this one, but that's okay. You don't really care about it.
Yeah, anyway, I'm ready to clock out. I'm tired.
I'm ready to clock out and then kick off Thorn Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Soon. Kick it off,
We're glad you guys watched season 4, especially the big things that did eventually get here.
The big things.
The Goose Boost video was a lot of fun, right? And that feels like a century ago, honestly, for myself.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a long time.
It was June.
Anyway, yeah.
And I think it's ironic that this season started at the beginning of summer, June, and it ended the week like college students go back to school.
Yeah, it's a good, just a nice summer for people.
If you're a high school student, you start next week, I think.
Well,
at least where we live.
Yeah. My cat.
My cat's out here. Q is out here. He's staring at me.
There he is. Among Us cat.
Don't mention that.
Sorry.
You got all the way to season 4 of the Backers before you mentioned that.
Yep.
We made it all the way. Well, it wasn't even a thing when Going Obscure started.
No. Anyway, got anything to say?
That's what I got.
We got big things coming.
Yep. Well, they're not as big, but on this side.
Well, I'll say this: just because I finished the script the other day, we do in the first episode of season 5 will be the longest episode so far.
And it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, you'll like it a lot, and there could be a part 2. We'll see. Ooh. But that's, before anything is done.
And you may see some differences over here.
Yeah, we'll see.
And in the main episode. Either way, in the main episode there will be one small difference.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm ready to go.
Yes, I am ready to go to wrap up season 4. Season 5 will be kicking off in a few months.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the Thorn Podcast break. Listen to the Thorn Podcast. Listen to our wisdom that we're going to give you guys. Because all these podcasts are going to be educational. That is a joke.
As usual.
That is a joke. They're not going to be educational.
Yeah.
But they're going to be interesting. It's going to be more personal stuff. Stories. Facts. Maybe even secrets.
Secrets.
You never know. Alright, I'm ready to wrap up this season.
Yeah, I am too.
Join us again next season in the Backrooms when we go back into the background information of the background backs, information on the Backrooms. We went back in time this week and went back to Tolkien. We went back to Tolkien's back. Tolkien's back. He's not back because he's not living. Tolkien's back in the Backrooms, going back to Frodo, going back to Mordor, back to the Frodo Mordor Backrooms. And when we go to the Backrooms, we're going to go back to the background information. But when we get to the background information, all of a sudden we've gone back in time even further, and now we're back in season 3. We're back in the season 3 of the Backrooms, but season 3 has already ended. So now we have to go back to the future. I said in a previous podcast, Back to the Future is a movie. Back to the Future is a movie where he has to go back to the future. That's what the title says. So we're going to go back to season 4, where we are right now, and you're going to come back to us when we go back in the background information in season 5 on the Backrooms.
Bye-bye, guys. See you next summer.